So players, this week a long anticipated movie of mine has finally come out, Angel Manuel Soto's Blue Beetle. The first movie after the Flash reset the DCU into the DCU, kinda. Again, this movie was made pre any type of DCU. The last day of filming was in summer of 2022 and was months before Black Adam would come out, and more so when James Gunn would be given the title of co-CEO of DC Studios and put forth this plan for a DC cinematic universe we could all count on and trust. No waiting a decade for sequels. Again, the reason why he was offered the job and not anyone else is because of a proven record of bangerinos. Wait, the plan to end the universe was by having Batman say I drive and the Batmobile run over Darkseid's balls? And while he's unconscious, Wonder Woman turns him into Steve Trevor and Superman screams, creating a new universe? Something that would totally have eventually happened, you know? This is what they took from us. But I say all that not just because it's funny how some people are acting and their thought process, how that group of very online active people will hyper magnify any flaws of this movie or any movies coming forward in the DCU to justify their opinion as well. The opposite will exist that will give this movie a hyper generous rating for one reason or another, and I will be doing neither. Despite wanting this movie and all of those movies to be good, not just because I am Mexican American and this is one of the only superhero who is legitimately badass that shares that heritage and is finally getting a movie that I hope gets sequels. And as you guys know, I love James Gunn's work and I'm extremely excited to see what he does with the DC universe. I have full trust in him. Despite those things, I will judge it fairly because it deserves that much, and I'm not gonna tweet any crazy shit about it being the end of the world or, you know, the next coming of Christ, because I have a brain, so I'm not gonna truly judge the DCU until Superman Legacy comes out and I know for sure what we're working with, good or bad, it being the first movie that will be untouched by the old guard that is the DCEU and fully James Gunn's. So as your favorite Latino comic content creator, sit back and let me lay it all out and spit the facts. Players, on this past Thursday night, I quickly washed my ass as I wait for the last moment to get ready for all of my endeavors. I applied my various creams and lotions, hopped in the comic concept mobile and whipped that bitch straight to my local AMC through a process I like to call speeding. This time I didn't get my usual popcorn and cherry icy because, well, I didn't want to feel like I got knocked through a fucking wall. So I made an executive cash money move like I like to do and got some dogs, some pretzel bites and a pizza. I'm rolling like that now, players. That sickening YouTube and X money hit the bank account, got me balling. 2 balls. I got in my seat, the movie started, it ended, and I gotta say, it was a fun movie that I'd seen before. It was, how you say,
derivative.
So the plot and story can really be broken down into guy gets tech he's not supposed to have, the tech chooses him and won't leave him alone, the big company that owns the tech wants it back and is willing to kill people he loves and rip it from his dead corpse. But through the power of family, our main protagonist prevails. In the end, he gets the girl and happily ever after, with room for a sequel, of course. That's basically the whole plot of the movie, okay? The story is just that Jaime Reyes comes back from college and learns that his family's been having money and health issues. He thinks his degree will help him help his family, but he ends up working as a cleaner along with his sister who doesn't have a degree, and he ends up getting fired from that. But Jenny Cord promises him some type of work, so when he takes her up on it and goes to Cord Industries, that's when she gives him the scarab and it attaches itself to him, so he links back up with Jenny to help him take it off of him, but they end up not being able to without killing him. Victoria sends soldiers after him to his family's house, and in the skirmish his father dies and he gets taken away. His family and Jenny team up to save him and use Lord Tech Divine Jaime. They then help him break out of his confinement and fight Carapax. I'm not sure if it's because of the sheer volume of comic book media that's come out in the past decade, but it's hard not to see pieces of like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Venom, a bit of Transformers as well in this movie. So in that, it is very predictable and tropey, and it feels like you've seen this before. It feels like they mixed a bunch of the aspects from those movies and glued them together for this one. The only real unique thing about it is that this is a Mexican-American lead and a Mexican-American family, which I think as a whole, they captured that kind of dynamic pretty damn accurately. It felt very real. Some of the stuff they would say in Spanish or like the little nuanced phrases were pretty damn funny and accurate. I never thought I'd hear "and pinche Ted" in a movie about Blue Beetle with George Lopez explaining Ted Kord. Like, that was pretty funny to me and pretty awesome. George Lopez, although not batting 100, was hitting with most of the lines he said. Very funny stuff. But that also plays into the issue that a lot of the humor in the movie, at least I think, will mostly fall flat for most non-Latino, non-Hispanic, or non-Spanish speaking people, even with the subtitles, which I feel in tandem with the character's low popularity already is another reason why people would skip out on this movie. It's not just that you have no idea who this character is in a universe that might have remnants of a universe we mostly don't like, but you're going to be unaware of a lot of what is being said and a lot of the most important beats of the movie, which makes the box office make perfect sense, really. Again, a lot of people will try to flex box offices, but it's not really a flex. It would be mostly a survival mechanism, you know, buying time for when the end of the conversation occurs with them flexing box office numbers of movies that were universally panned or of characters that were unequivocally more popular than said character at times where the populace didn't know how doomed that previous universe was. The action and VFX were better than I expected in this movie. There was some pretty good fight choreography. There's a scene in the movie where Jaime sees his father in some kind of in-between state of death and full immersion with the scarab. There is a beautiful seafoam green light. There's rolling hills of candles, and there's Mexicans in space. It's fucking beautiful. Love that shit for us. Need more of that. I believe this movie had a $120 million budget. You know, it was originally supposed to be an HBO Max, you know, original, which is similar to that of Shazam, at least budget-wise. So I think having to focus on less characters and the emphasis of using practical suits and environments lent itself to a more immersive and satisfying fight and movie as a whole. There were some instances where it wasn't all good and was kind of corny, like towards the end of the movie. Definitely felt more like an HBO Max kind of thing. He did like a charge up into a Blue Beetle version of a Kamehameha. You know, there was a lot of anime inspiration, which I loved, so I can look past certain things. The bad thing as well is that, you know, the villains were just very generic in motivation and, you know, in design. I can't believe no one made a joke about his name being Carapax. Also, he was like some mofo that Victoria Court plucked from his home as a child and turned him into a child soldier, and he's like this pseudo Frankenstein that Victoria Court keeps promising to fix and make him whole again, so he does what she says. And then Victoria Court is just like a not so low-key racist bitch the whole movie. Like, I think they should have at least had her slowly reveal herself to be an unpleasant person as the movie went on, you know, just to build up to that. I mean, it's Susan Sarandon, so she could have given us something, you know, Umbridge-like, and just the motivation of her seems to be generic. Sell the scarab code to the military, make a bunch of money. I think there was some solid world building going on, even if Jaime ends up in a different world come 2025. Lots of good music and lots of relatable things for Mexican Americans or even Latino Americans in general, or Latinos in general. Ultimately, this movie didn't reinvent the wheel, and it also didn't roll it down a different path, but it was fun, funny, emotional, and had a good message about family and purpose and kind of the journey that is life. Despite the flaws of this movie, you can tell that Angel Manuel Soto put a lot of heart and care into it. Cholo Mariduena is an amazing cast as Jaime Reyes. I'm so glad that he was cast as this character, and I can't wait to see him pop back up in the DCU. He's such a charming guy, and the whole supporting cast did their things. Very happy with them. That is why I am going to be giving Blue Beetle a fluctuating 6.5 to 7 out of 10. Not the best DC movie, not the worst. It's more concise than The Flash, but The Flash had higher highs than lows in my opinion, while Blue Beetle mostly played it very safe. I'm definitely going to be rewatching it once it's on Max, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all thought of the movie, whether you liked it or not. Any predictions you have, if you want to see a sequel, let me know all your thoughts. But that's pretty much it, players. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I will see you in the next one.